Give me 10 minutes and I'll tell you something that will absolutely change your life. I know that's a big, bold claim, but I only make big, bold claims like that when the application is pretty simple. This is something I learned early on, but I've only been confident in actually voicing it as an older man. And it's ask better questions to get better answers. Now you could leave right now, and if you just did that one thing, I guarantee you your tomorrows will be better than your todays, and definitely better than your past. But if you give me that full 10 minutes, I can explain how it works, the mechanics, and the application. Because questions, I found, are the key to everything. It's asking the right question at the right time to the right person. And it's all about the proper sequence. Because you can ask a question and get an answer that seems like it's valuable, seems like it will get you to your destination. But a lot of times it won't. Because knowing the right question is more important than the answer. Take, for instance, all the word problems we had when we were in elementary school. There was always something fundamental in every single one of those word equations. There was always a piece of that problem, always a piece in that question that was just a throwaway. Didn't help you solve for the actual equation, but it was there. It was right in front. It was prominent. And a lot of times it just completely threw you off. And that's how it is with questions. Because if you don't ask a question that first and foremost actually answers for the actual problem, and even more so, if you ask a question and you get an answer that you can't implement, it might be the right answer, but it might be for the wrong person. Because you need to be able to actually take action on the answers you get in order to walk through those doors, unlock those locks, and move forward in a way that is actually beneficial. So I'm gonna say, knowing how to ask the right question in the right sequence to the right person is the key. Because sometimes the person you're asking that question to, that's giving you that answer, they can't unlock the door you need unlocked. Sometimes you need to ask them, who is the person that you need to seek to get you 2 steps past where you are? Because if you're solving for the problem where they are now, you're just gonna end up where they are. And if that's where you need to be, okay, then that's the person you need to ask the question to, and they might have the answers. But if you realize that your end destination is 3 steps past where they are, you need to be asking questions of somebody who can get you those 3 steps forward. And it's not a hard thing, but it's something that you have to understand that. I'm gonna give you an example. Something that I absolutely love, snowboarding. Say I went to some strange resort that I've never been to before. I roll up on that parking lot and I look at the mountain and I see the top. That's my answer right there. That's where I need to be. That's where all the good runs are gonna be. That's where the glades are gonna be. That's where just the hoop and hollering, that joy from snowboarding is gonna be right there. You get on that lift, you ride up, you get off, and you look around, and sure, there are runs from wherever you get off a lift. But you look and you realize, oh, that wasn't the peak. You're looking at a downslope, a valley, another set of lifts that's gonna take you up to where you ultimately wanna go. That's solving for the actual problem. Because you might not see the actual problem that you need to solve for. So you might not be asking the proper questions to solve for it. But you need to learn how to incrementally move forward, keep asking questions, Understand that the answers that you get, they're not end solutions. They just move you forward to another point where you ask another question. And hopefully in that journey from point A to point B, you learn how to ask a better question. So when you get to point B, the question that you're going to ask might not take you to C, might take you all the way up to F, might take you to the top. But that's also unlikely because it's a journey, it's a progression. The end destination is almost never the end destination. So the questions you ask to get there are never the questions that you actually need to ask to keep going forward. Life is a constant progression. So life is a constant journey, a constant seeking, a constant question being asked. And like I said, I learned that early on, but I had a chance to put it into perspective as I got older. Because the questions you ask when you're younger are questions that are easy to solve. As you get older, those questions get harder. Or those answers get harder. So those questions need to be more refined, more advanced. They need to be crafted in a way that actually gets you to your end result. So you need to learn how to ask. You need to learn how to actually ask the proper questions. Because answers are a dime a dozen. But questions are personal. They're individually based. Because to get to that end result, somebody over here might need to ask different questions because they're starting from a different starting point. They have a different set of skills. They might be solving for the same equation, but the questions they ask they're not interchangeable. And that's why I say the secret, the key to everything you want is asking better questions, getting better answers, learning how to act on the answers you get, but knowing that even in that answer, what's the question that the answer is asking me? And I learned it. Maybe I learned it the hard way. Maybe I learned it by constantly asking questions, getting answers that led me nowhere. And it showed me that I can get a good answer. But if I get a good answer and it's not solving for the problem that I needed to solve for, it's not really the right answer. And it's only not the right answer because I didn't ask the right question. So I'm going to tell you, learn to ask the right questions. Learn to constantly move forward and learn every answer has another question in it. And if you do that constantly, you do that consistently, you do that with more expertise, you can't end up in a place that's not better than where you are now. So everything you want in life, in my opinion, from what I've seen, is on the other side of a better asked question. A question asked in a proper sequence. A question asked to the right person. And it's that simple. That's why I said, I know that's a big statement, but it has a practical application. Because questions are easy. We all have them. We've all asked them questions. Never stop asking them. Never stop answering them.
I don't ask for too much.